You know what to do. The words had been staring up at her for so long that she was starting to worry they might burn into the screen. Allison bit her lip as she glanced around conspicuously, eyes wandering more than once to the big glass wall that sat directly across from her desk. The blinds were open, sunlight cheerily pouring into the chic space, but it was the man grinning down at the phone as he spoke that really held her attention. You know what to do. The thing was, she didn't. Maybe for some people, the choice would have been obvious, easy. But Allie had never been very good at lying, least of all to herself, but more importantly, never to her boss, Christopher. He looked up at that instant and their eyes met, his smile slipping slightly before it hitched back up again, and she looked down at her diary awkwardly, still seeing nothing but the words from the message on her phone. See, she knew that lying to her boss and leading him on under false pretenses would never end well. Trying to score an invite to the biggest wedding of the year by being his +1 was never going to happen, regardless of what her ex threatened her with, or how she might feel about the boss in question. Not that there was anything like a happily ever after on the table for her and Christopher. There was no her and Christopher. He was her boss. She was his assistant. Could she be a bigger cliché? In her defense, there weren't many men out there like Christopher Hanley. He was always unfalteringly polite, genuinely nice, and the way his slacks hugged his thighs was... Allie cleared her throat, willing the burning in her cheeks to calm down as she let the thought die a slow and miserable death. He was her boss. He might as well have had off-limits stamped on his forehead. So she had to tell him. He deserved to know, and logically, she was probably going to save herself a lot of trouble down the road. But if she told him what she needed, if he couldn't help her, well, let's just say that she couldn't see her ex being the forgiving type, if she couldn't deliver what he demanded. Given that she'd never expected him to be capable of blackmail in the first place, she couldn't predict what he would do to get ahead in his career as a journalist. Secretly filming your girlfriend, who you probably only decided to date because of her connections so you could capitalize on them, and then threatening her? Apparently, Jared didn't draw the line at any of that, and it made her wonder what else she'd been too blind to see. Had he been overeager to come to company events? Had there been small bits of info she'd unwittingly leaked to him and the trashy magazine he often freelanced for? She'd thought she'd gotten over her heartache for Jared already, when he'd unexpectedly broken up with her via text while she'd been waiting for him at a restaurant in the city. Was there anything sadder than crying over breadsticks and a bottle of red wine in Gino's,